Hi, everybody. I am SilverSpook, also known as Chris of SilverSpook Games. I am an indie game dev. I also do a variety of other things. I am from Hawaii, Native Hawaiian. I spent most of my life here, but also in cyberspace. Some of my favorite things to do is gardening, being in nature. So we have like a large a food garden. We have various sweet potatoes, coconuts. It's Hawaii. It helps relieve some of the stress of game dev and just get out of the digital world for a little bit. Sunday afternoons, I like to read something interesting, like in a book, in a digital book. I like reading something that makes me think and gives me ideas for the game dev that I'm going to be working on for most of the time.
Stupid cyber, I'm glitching out again. Well, I can't afford to fix it right now, and I'm already late.
So right now, I am working on Neofeud 2. That's like my primary focus. Neofeud 1 is a 2D retro 90s era point-and-click adventure game. The main character in Neofeud is like a social worker for homeless robots. So the robots that the main character, who is a half cyborg himself, he does like, well, you count as maybe half a human. Those kids, they don't count as anything, and so this kind of like that's all kind of like my personal life like infused into this game, and I had to do it as an indie game because none of that stuff would ever flown for a corporation. They would be like, what are you talking about? No. Just make calories look cool. Anyway.
You still don't understand. We are on the edge of a global meltdown. The post-human species is primed. We won't get another chance to ascend.
In the class that I took to learn computer science, I remember it was like computer science 201, I forget what it was. And we had to make like little Space Invaders type games in that. And like I really liked that, like programming the game. So at that point I was like, this is something I could do in the future. I think I got a Nintendo first. I've always loved games and been playing them since I was about 4, and I spent so much time playing Mario, Super Nintendo, Genesis.
Hey, anybody home?
It was kind of an escape. I had a rough time in school. I didn't have the best experience in school, like a lot of like bullying kind of stuff. And so the game was like an escape, and so I kind of lived in that world for a lot of the time.
Continued infractions detected.
I was playing Deus Ex in my 20s actually, and I was like, I really like this world. I remember like it was one of those games where it really made me think, because I was used to playing all these shooter games, like Doom. And those are still some of the most popular games, right? And then I was like, I remember Deus Ex is a point where the logo was like question everything. And part of the reason why I like Cyberpunk specifically is, of course, because like, the area that I'm from is like it's in Hawaii, and I know it's a weird thing because people think, well, Hawaii is like coconuts and pina coladas and like beaches and sun. Cyberpunk is like dark and neon and it's raining all the time, and I was like, but I mean, yeah, but also like I actually has the highest poverty rate in all of the United States. Like the area that I'm from is actually very poor, but my father taught at this fancy private school that I got to go to. We like commuted in this 30-year-old broken Toyota Corolla, but people at the school would show up in limousines, right? Like Obama went to school right next to my school. That's the most expensive school anyway. And I was like, so when I read Cyberpunk and you have like these broke drug using digital cyberspace addict guy who is like trying to figure out how to make money, and he has to go up to this space palace with like immortal trillionaires floating around, and I'm like, that's just like where I'm from, except it's not like they're not in space, they're like on the multi-million-dollar Hawaii hillside mansions, and then under that is just like less well-off people, and that always resonated with me. So being an indie dev allows you to explore a lot of different story topics, a lot of different art styles. Like Neofeud is a very specific art style. I want people to be entertained. Like I have to at least give people a good time at minimum, right? So the story and the world is a lot of what I want people to take to heart. Some people say, they laugh and they cry in different scenes of Neofeud, and if it works, if it hits, if I'm doing my job, I think in cinematic terms, so I want people to have like a moving experience with the characters and the world. Like there's some very, very, very serious scenes in Neophyte. And so I want those to hit. And so if people think about as the best cyberpunk does, think about the current world that they're in, and I guess just kind of have an experience that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else.